Hey everybody, Jack here from the Jane community team. I'm joined again by Brooke this week, and today we're going to be going over how you can chart more efficiently with Jane. So the first thing we're going to talk about is setting up those chart templates that you're going to be using for your note taking. So Brooke, if you want to share your screen, and we'll have a little peruse of the template library and see how people can get their notes and templates created real quick.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Jack. So first off, I'm going to go through how to create your templates and go over some features that can be used to make our charting faster once we're using these templates. Here in your staff profile, you can head to your templates tab, and there are two ways to create a template, as maybe most of you know. We have this template library. It's probably maybe the more common way, the more most way we see people create their templates, which is to jump into this template library. And it's broken up here by discipline. In our demo here, I'm just going to be working in the chiropractic discipline today.
I think a cool thing to mention is that these templates are created by other Jane users. So your peers, your friends, possibly. So these are all practicing templates. So you can pretty much hit the ground running if you find
Mm-hmm.
something you like here.
Yeah, yeah. And if you know somebody who has using Jane, they've created a template and they've shared it, you could search by name of the individual, the practice, the template name to do that. And then once you found one that you want to use, you can still make changes to it. So you can customize it to whatever you want there. Different features that we have here. So things like checkboxes, note box just to type in, which I've got another feature to make typing faster for you. We have drop down options so you can change any of the list here. Body chart. So if we wanted to go ahead and use this one with it now added, we are able to make those changes. So we just have to hit the edit option and then you can customize any of these.
And this isn't going to change it on the library template, right? It's just for you. We don't have to
Exactly.
worry about
Yeah,
messing
you
anybody's.
haven't you haven't changed Dr. Joe's template that you find in there. His, it would still be the same for him. It's only for on your end of it here. Yeah. So some features, checkboxes are obviously nice and handy when you're charting. You can just, click and check those off. We do have a feature, smart options and narratives, where when you make a selection, Jane's going to write out what that narrative is based on what you set up there. Rather than going through how to set that up, I'll go through using it. So to give you an idea of what it actually looks like when we are using that, but that would be using our right here if we wanted to add that to this template, this smart options and narrative. And those can be in buttons, checkboxes, drop down, slider. So different options there.
Oh,
So with the smart options and narrative, I'm going to show you all what it looks like in action to use. And if you did want to search the library specifically for smart options, I have gone in here and just looked at or did a search for, smart options. And then here are some pre-built ones already in here for you too. Which let's just go ahead and have a look at those. That would be these here that we're looking at. All right, so the other feature I'm just going to go over here is our phrases. So phrases are keyboard shortcuts for you to set up for any text box that you want to write something out and you don't want to have to write those out yourself. So you can create a shortcut. There's no limit on how many you can have set up, how long they're going to be. So here, it's going to default to always be starting with a /. And so the shortcut would be, when you're charting, you would just have to do the /, LB, and here would be that phrase that would be written out. I'm
awesome.
going to create one here though.
I was going
Sorry,
to say
Jack.
that I don't know if anybody's actually checking these out, but the
Yeah.
prescription one looks great. I don't know
Oh,
who the
yes.
practitioner is, but
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to create one here right now for maybe our US practitioners who are billing insurance and adding our billing codes to our notes. So I'm just going to title this one CPT and do a hashtag and start to type in one of my codes. When I'm charting, I'm going to put in my phrase here all of the potential codes I might need. So I can go ahead and add in any of those. And we'll just hit save. And I'm going to do the same thing for my diagnosis codes.
And while you're typing that out, I'll just mention is we have a blog entry on the Jane blog. So if you haven't visited it before, it's jane.app/blog. But we released one a few months ago called Phrases for Quick and Easy Charting. And we chatted with some of our Jane ambassadors, and they actually shared some of their phrase sets that you can just directly download and bring right into your own Jane account. So if you're billing in the US, uh, Noel Snodgrass is a chiropractor and a Jane ambassador, gave us all of these kind of CPT and ICD 10 codes. So you can save a little bit of time putting these in. And there's a lot more in
Perfect.
there. So yeah,
Yeah,
link.
very nice to have. Yeah, thank you, Noel. All right, so now when we're charting, as maybe most of you know, we generally recommend charting from what we call that practitioner day sheet here. So here, we can go ahead and select an appointment from our day sheet. And if it's a new patient, all I'll have is that intake form that that patient has completed. So I can view that here. And when I'm ready to add in my note, I would just select this new chart entry. Any template you've created is going to be available here. I'm going to pull in this everything but the kitchen sink. It has all of the features used to build those out. When we start from that day sheet, you'll have that open padlock indicating you've started your paperwork, but we haven't yet completed this. And I can start my chart. But if I don't want to type, I can go ahead and use one of my phrases I've created. We'll put in Jack's prescription here. I just have to start with that /, start to type it out. I don't even have to type out the whole thing. If I've got multiple of starting with the same, I could just select which one I want to use there.
Awesome. And I think a cool thing to point out is if you're filling in like the same chart each time a client visits, and it's usually maintenance on the same thing being typed in for the same visit, you can actually just duplicate that chart down the
Mhm.
bottom. So you
Ex-
don't have to fill everything in again.
Yeah, exactly. So this was maybe for a new patient where I did have to start a new one. But if I do have a return patient, rather than, doing that they are just in for the same thing, I can just go ahead and duplicate a previous note. It's going to copy over everything that had been done.
Awesome.
Yeah. Everything saves though, so I don't have to, when I left that, I don't have to worry about this. Those phrases, so, if you're using something like the body chart, those phrases will work in these fields here as well.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
then maybe we could have a quick look at adding those billing codes within the chart
Yeah.
for our US folks.
Yeah, definitely. So those phrases, so I created those as a phrase here. So I can start to type out my CPT ones. And like I said, I'm going to add in all of the potential phrases or potential codes I'm going to use, and then maybe delete the ones I'm not going to be billing out for this appointment. If you don't want to use phrases for this and you do want to type them in, to type them into your note, you just have to start with the number sign, and I could either start to type in the name of that code or the number, and then I can include it that way. So you don't necessarily have to create those as a phrase to use.
How do you get those billing codes into your invoices or your?
Yeah. So at the bottom, so once I am done, actually, and before I finish with those billing codes, here would be those smart options. So like I said, you can set them up as checkboxes or buttons, and depending on what you set up there in the setting of the smart options and narratives, once you sign the note, this would be what would be on that note. So, another way to just click and not have to write things out you can have that written out for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, or drop down or range scale or slider as well. Yeah. And then for those billing and diagnosis codes, at the bottom of this note, I'm just going to select this edit billing codes. So here I can select which ones I do want included on that invoice and to actually bill and include those on the claim. Once I'm done, I would just hit this update billing. If you did want to manage the insurance from here, so anything from the schedule, we can manage all of that also here on that day sheet.
Awesome. And before we leave the charting section, I wonder, do those billing codes come over when you duplicate a previous chart?
They do, yes. So, and that is the same workflow here. So if we have another appointment booked in and their previous note included those billing codes, when you duplicate it, that information also gets copied over. Now, depending on how the actual appointment was scheduled, so if the appointment itself was copied, they should also already be included in the claim, in which case, when you duplicate them, they should already be checked off. However, if the patient may be booked online, the information that's billed out may not have probably didn't be brought over. So in which case you might need to check them off again, but they would still be included in the note. So just hit the edit billing codes just to confirm that you're actually billing and submitting that information.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's it for this week. Hopefully, it speeds up your note taking, and we'll see you in a couple more weeks. Take care.